The WiiM Amp Pro is the latest high-performance, high-value streaming integrated amplifier from WiiM. They've added a few upgrades to their extremely popular WiiM Amp, improving on wireless connectivity and sound quality thanks to a revised circuit design and post-filter feedback implementation. Let's start with what stayed the same. The WiiM Amp Pro is rated at 60 watts per channel into 8 ohms and 120 watts per channel into 4 ohms. From our experience, that's been plenty to drive most speakers, especially if they're relatively sensitive. For instance, Klipsch Reference Premier, KEF Q series, and even Bowers & Wilkins 700 series all nicely matched with the Amp Pro here in our video studio. The form factor and physical connections all remain the same as the original WiiM Amp. On the rear of the Amp Pro, you'll find HDMI ARC input, Ethernet, USB-A, a pair of analog RCA inputs, optical input, a mono subwoofer output, and a set of binding post speaker terminals. The front panel uses the same three-way rotary knob for controlling playback, along with status and volume LED indicators. Like all WiiM audio products, the Amp Pro connects to your home network for easy and convenient wireless music streaming with services like Spotify Connect or Tidal Connect, which let you use the native Spotify or Tidal apps. The WiiM Home app offers access to even more streaming services like Qobuz, Amazon Music, and more. The Amp Pro has built-in Bluetooth, Google Cast, and Amazon's Alexa Cast for even more flexible streaming options. You can use the app to control playback, create a multi-room audio system with other WiiM products, and run room correction. Let's spend a minute talking about that because there's a ton of value there. The multi-room audio capability is a big deal and competes with systems like Sonos, Hios, or Bluesound. From my experience, the WiiM Home app works just as well for controlling multiple sources and zones of music. The biggest difference between WiiM and a competitor like Sonos is that Sonos has more hardware options, including powered speakers and soundbars. Right now, WiiM only exists in amplifiers, preamps, and streamers, meaning you'll need separate speakers. If that describes you, WiiM is the value king when it comes to adding streaming or multi-room functionality to an existing system. The other impressive bit of software is WiiM's room correction, a recent addition to the WiiM Home app that wasn't part of the original WiiM Amp experience when it first launched, but is available now. The app sends a tone sweep out through your system, records measurements using the microphone on your phone, then produces a corrected EQ based on your acoustic environment, which you can toggle on or off to hear the difference. In our case, it was obvious. Better bass response and more balanced overall. We're used to seeing room correction in high-end integrated amplifiers from brands like NAD and Techniques, but those come in at roughly 4 times the cost of the Amp Pro, further making this even more of a standout at this price point. Now let's talk about the WiiM Amp Pro's improvements, mostly over the original WiiM Amp. First, the wireless connectivity. The Amp Pro uses the latest Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3. Wi-Fi 6E is a huge step forward over Wi-Fi 5 used in the Amp because it uses 3 frequency bands rather than 2. That allows for faster speeds with less interference and lower latency, huge advantages if you'll be streaming high-res music or have a lot of connected devices in your house. And that Bluetooth works both ways, receiving and transmitting, allowing you to send audio out to your favorite pair of wireless headphones or powered speakers. The second upgrade is all about improving sound quality. The Amp Pro uses a redesigned circuit implementing post-filter feedback to the Class D amplifier. This results in a lower noise floor, lower distortion, and a higher signal-to-noise ratio of 120 dB, up from 98 dB on the original amp. That's a significant improvement with a seemingly small redesign and will result in better clarity and detail compared to the original amp. WiiM has also improved the thermal design to better manage heat and upgraded the DAC to an ESS 9032QM2 chip. If you're planning to listen to high-res music or plan to pair the WiiM with a quality pair of loudspeakers, stepping up to the Amp Pro makes a lot of sense for these reasons. The WiiM Amp Pro and its flagship streamer preamp, the Ultra, do not have AirPlay 2 like previous WiiM devices. We don't know why exactly. I'm an Apple user, but for me, the lack of AirPlay isn't a big deal. For one, the sound quality and response time are noticeably better when you stream using the WiiM Home app. It's also more stable, your playback settings stay put, and you don't have to reconnect every time you want to pick up where you left off for listening. And by the way, that goes for pretty much any wireless multi-room platform, Sonos, Hios, Bluesound, and the others. So, are there any other options worth considering at this price point? The Yamaha RN303 is a close competitor on paper. It's a stereo receiver with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, but adds a phono input and steps up the rated power to 100 watts per channel into 8 ohms, making it worth a look if you have power-hungry speakers. However, that additional power comes at a cost. The RN303 is roughly 8 times the size of the Amp Pro. On top of that, the Amp Pro uses the latest Wi-Fi standards and has an HDMI input and room correction. And I prefer the WiiM Home app experience to the Yamaha's MusicCast. We already touched on the Sonos comparison, but let's look at the Amp Pro side by side with the Sonos Amp. Both are fully featured with a ton of streaming flexibility and an easy multi-room user experience. The Sonos Amp is rated at 125 watts per channel into 8 ohms and has a similar form factor to the Amp Pro, but it's almost twice the price. This decision should be pretty straightforward. If you have other Sonos gear already, or want to integrate your whole home audio system with a sound bar or powered speakers, then Sonos is your answer. If you don't already have existing Sonos gear and plan to add streaming and multi-room audio into an existing system, then the WiiM Amp Pro offers the better value. I tested the Amp Pro in my home where I connected it to a pair of ELAC Unify Reference UBR62 three-way bookshelf speakers. As usual, I was pleasantly astounded by how quickly and easily I was able to get it set up. Within 5 minutes, I'd added it to our home network, entered my Qobuz credentials in the WiiM Home app, and run room correction using my iPhone. And when I got to Andy Pratt's Inside Me Once Out, I was literally giggling with pleasure at the level of detail I was hearing. We've been thoroughly impressed with everything in WiiM's lineup, and the Amp Pro is no exception. For customers wanting a streaming amplifier in a small form factor, this sets the new bar under $400. If you have any questions about WiiM or upgrading your stereo system, get in touch with us here at Crutchfield.